One approach on this problem would be to find the least common denominator and then simplify it into a single fraction and see if you could get some cancellation and make it less than 1/5. But obviously that would be tedious with these large 3-digit numbers. Another approach on this problem, and notice this is 1/6, and even though you add all these other numbers, you still don't quite get to 1/5. It ends up being a very sharp inequality. Now let's take a look. The only way I really know to do this in the so-called elegant way is to notice this particular pattern here. Notice that you can write this as 1 over 1 times 5 plus 1. And that's really the trick. And even after that, you have still a little bit of work. But that's this very first one. Now this next one is 1 over 6 times 5 plus 6. Okay, and this third one, it'll convince you of the pattern. This third one is 1 over 11 times 5 plus 11. Okay. And you guys you see this is 11 times what, 16 right here, and 11 times 16 is 176. And you can find the rest of these denominators are in this form, okay? So we have this fairly famous results called telescoping. Now you may wonder how this is equal to this. I just wrote this down, but one way to prove this is just to, let me write it right over here, right up here. You could write, this is a partial fraction sort of concept, I think, times n plus 5. Okay, this is the left-hand side I'm writing down. And what I'm going to try to show you is, I won't go through every single step, but how it is we know that this becomes this, because it's not obvious to me. If you just look at this, you go, unless you have some experience with this. But you see, if you do this approach of writing it, is A is just some real number. Usually it's going to be an integer or maybe a rational number. Probably a rational number here. Okay, and then plus B over n plus 5. Okay, now notice you don't have any n terms in the numerator right here. You just have a constant term 1. Now what you'll do if you convert this to a single fraction, which is easy to do, a times n plus 5 plus b times n, okay, and then you equate the real part to just 1, you will end up getting a equals to 1/5. Okay, again, I'll go through that work. You'll get a is equal to 1/5, and b is equal to minus 1/5. But again, this is fairly famous type of algebra manipulation in math competitions. Most people just know this when they're competing, but this is how you would go from here to here. And again, there's just a couple of intermediate steps to get to these two constants here. All right, notice the minus sign right here. So you see, all of a sudden we can rewrite this in this very cool way. All right, or this is our original expression. We're trying to show it's less than 1/5, right? All right, and so you move along, and you see how we have this cancellation going on right here. All of these terms in the middle, you see, pairwise, cancel out. All the way until all you have is this, we have the positive 1 that's a survivor, and then minus 1 over 31 that's a survivor. So let's keep going. So y'all, what this is equal to is 1 minus 1 over 31 all over 5. And you can see how we just put the 5 as down here because it's going to be on. You could have written it separately, but it's better just to jump to this step. Okay. Now, so this is what 30 over 31 in the numerator. Again, one way of thinking of this, folks, if some people still battle this, I've noticed when you're teaching this stuff, 1 can be written as 31 over 31, right? So that's where this comes from. Remember, we're trying to show the whole thing is less than 1/5. All right. So this piece right here is 6 over 31. Okay. But this is equal to, and you can just tell right now that this is less than 1/5. But you can also, if you want to see the work here, you could write this, I suppose, as 5 over. Does this help anything? No, that doesn't help at all, does it? Okay. Never mind. I was going to try to show it, but there's no need to because it's so obvious. It's clear that this is less than 1/5, right? I'll just write it down. It's clear. Because this 6 over 30 would be 1/5, right? 6 over 30 is 1/5. And so 6 over 31 has to be less than 1/5. No need to go through a rigorous proof of that, right? Okay. So that does it. Okay. Fairly cool. And we end up, let's see, this is, QED time, right? We're done. This is the original one. We used this telescoping situation right here. We got all the cancellation, and we ended up with 6 over 31 is less than 1/5. And let me just write it out here. Get a little uptight here, but 6 over 30, remember, is equal to 1/5. Okay, so QED. Hey, everybody, root for that Filipino girl to win the U.S. Open, the lefty, the left-handed Filipino female tennis player. She has a really good chance.